Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm actually going to be talking about the Polaroid OneStep 600 film camera. The model I'm going to be showing you is black. So this camera does come in different colorways. There is the all black one, which I have here. They have a silver one of a similar model, and you can find different variations out there, but you're getting the same photo out of all the cameras. So anyway, let's get to it. I want to point out some of the cool features about this camera. It is a little bit chunky. It's actually made of plastic. Viewfinder's on the back, so you would peep through like that. You get a beautiful view of your photo preview. You see a nice little square in there, and you kind of have an idea of what your photo may look like. Keep in mind though that your film, the photos printing, are not exactly square. Previously I was shooting on a Instax wide film camera, and I still own that one. It's a more modern one, and the film is a little bit cheaper on that thing compared to the 600 film. But both of them are really great cameras. There is some pros and cons to the camera I'm holding here. So the pro is that it's vintage, it's original from the 70s. It's easy to find cameras like this for a decent price. I bought this one for just over 30 bucks from a store in Toronto, and it was fully refurbished, so you can find them for a decent price. The con is that the film is quite expensive on these things. So you're getting 8 shots per cartridge. The cartridge includes a battery, which is pretty awesome. Those 8 shots is costing you around 28 bucks. But honestly, it's really worth it, especially because you get those one-off photos that you can't recreate with any other type of camera. The photos that come out of here are awesome, and that's why people still use these things today, including myself. I'll show a close-up soon of the camera to give you more detail on what's going on here. But in general, the shutter is just on the right side here. You pull the trigger. The further trigger includes the flash, and if you don't want the flash, you just pull this small little trigger there in the right side. The viewfinder, as I mentioned, is just on the rear left. It kind of hides your face because the camera's so big, but it's part of the quirks of this one. If you're lucky, you'll get some functionality on the camera as well. Some of them don't have it, so if you don't have it, don't worry. You don't really need it. But this one here has a exposure adjustment, so you can over or underexpose depending on your lighting situation. And it also has a macro setting, which actually slides the lens right over the front of the camera. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so now we got a close-up of the camera. So I'll point out a couple of the features that I mentioned before. So again, it just pops closed like that. That's how it looks when it's fully closed. And then when you pop it open, you get that beautiful flash and the original Polaroid logo. This one, as I mentioned, is the OneStep. So to open the film cartridge, you would slide this button forward, and there you go. This is what I mentioned, where you can see what film is required for the camera. So you always want to follow this directly. And for these old cameras, you want to make sure not to get the I-type film, because you need the regular 600 film, which includes the battery that powers the camera. So we'll just close that back up. And as I mentioned, the shutter is on the right side here. So this inner trigger takes a regular photo, no flash. And if you want a flash photo, you pull the outside one. Keep in mind, these cameras are old and finicky, so you may take a shot and end up with a flash photo even if you weren't planning on it, so just keep that in mind. So here's the exposure adjustment, so you can go turn it up brighter, or you can bring it down dark in the super bright light. You got your lens here, and here's the square of the viewfinder, which you're actually looking through. And the viewfinder is located on the back. Unfortunately, it's not adjustable, so you just have to put your eye straight to it and hope for the best. And one more thing, this is the lens that I was talking about to take your more macro shots. So you slide it over this way, and it locks into place. And then you're able to take shots between 2 to 4 feet, and then you can release that to take photos 4 feet and onward. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope that was informative. I'm very excited for whoever decides to pull the trigger and buy one of these old cameras. They can be a lot of fun. And yes, the film is expensive, but there's a reason why. It's worth it. It's not a camera that you'll take everywhere every day, but let me tell you, it'll turn heads when you go out there and you're taking photos on this old thing. There's no better gift to give someone than a Polaroid picture.